Нет, я нечаянно начал квест. Задание архонтов. Или не он, я не знаю. Ладно. Действительно, дайте-ка подумать. Академия. Что? Ты что, с ума сошла? Фотокамера. Охренеть. Параллельно читать и заснимать? Согласен. Время 6 часов утра, поэтому я могу нести херню, если что. Это можете отправиться в порт Армоз. О, где был Аль-Хайтам. Короче, в доме малютки. Что? Ладно. Сука. Ах ты тут. Ля. Я думаю, что это за пиздец какой-то. Согласен полностью с Пайман. Ну да, действительно. Уже сколько месяц прошел с момента, как она отдохнула. It was another dream about the Sub-Zero's festival. In my dream, I was sitting in the middle of a flower terrace, and everyone in Sumeru City was holding hands as they danced in circles around me. I also got to sit on a gigantic flower carriage. Ferris, the night of flowers, а, это тот чел, который конфеты раздал вроде бы. Да. How the Sub-Zero's festival really should be. It's meant to be a joyous time where everyone gets together to... Huh? Wasn't I describing a really happy dream? Жалость. Ля. No, we aren't pitying you. That would only make everything worse. We just... By the way, have you had a chance to visit... Ой, вот как ее зовут. Какие сложные имена в этом Сумеру. Yes, I paid her a visit right after I woke up. She was resting at the time. Her condition is stabilized. However, since Elazar is a manifestation of the withering on the human body, we can only cure it by finding a way. До сих пор не понимаю, что не помню точнее, что это такое. Согласен. Мудрецы по-любому заговорились с кем-нибудь из Фаты. Что такое произойдет? Согласен. Все? А, ну все, отлично. Сны, пустоты и обман. Уф, прям завораживает это название. Телепортируемся сюда. Потому что вроде бы там должна быть Нахида. А где? Ладно. Вот. Let's continue our chat here. Okay, so do you have any ideas on how we can investigate the sage's name? То случилось, когда у Пайман голос очень похож на Хиной. Actually, I've already done a little bit of work on that. But for now, I want to hear... We're in the dark as of now. Since we still don't know anything about their goals, any rash move could tip them off and lead to terrible consequences. After all, every person in Sumeru City is one
Кстати,
sparrow.
да. А, понял.
No way, that's too risky.
You mean it'd be too easy to get caught?
No, it's not that. We shouldn't involve innocent students in this. Doing that would be ignoring the safety of my people for my own selfish goals. How is that any different from a
Что верно, то верно.
Spoken like the god of Sumeru.
I've already tried that. But all the key members of the academia, even the core 30 guards, it seems that from the very beginning, they've been guarding against info leaks from the Akasha. Of course, it could also be because...
Have you already caught
возможно.
the sage's attention?
I'm guessing not yet. But distrusting me would make perfect sense if they've ever paid attention to the urban legend. In any case, I probably can't take a...
Правильно, не бери в голову, бери в рот.
Are we really out of ideas? Nahida, you're super smart, so you already have something in mind, right?
According to a popular theory from the Bahumana Darshan of the academia, rejecting impractical motions at the beginning of a planning session will give more...
тихо.
Okay, but aren't you the god of wisdom? You don't have to use that kind of gimmick to make us take your idea.
Well, I've been thinking that if I can't directly possess the leaders, and if I can't get ordinary people involved, then I should find someone who's already involved, but hasn't decided to side with the sages.
You're saying we should recruit a spy?
Интересно, ты же будешь
We
шпионом.
met someone named Al-Haytham. He seems like he acts alone, and he likes doing stuff behind the academia's
Вот
back.
бля,
We are in
Аль-Хайтам.
cahoots.
Actually, I already have someone in mind. Do you still remember that female scholar named
Нет, не помню.
Aria. Haima remembers that we ran into her basically every time the Sub-Zero's festival repeated itself. Haima still remembers the smug and mean way she always spoke to me.
I've always liked observing all kinds. She was born in the desert and was hailed as their greatest genius. Her academic gifts allowed her special admission into the academy.
Haima didn't know she was from the desert. She must be pretty special then. Haima feels like
The name Sitaria means star. When she lived in the desert, she shone like the brightest star in the night sky. Later on, she was chosen by the sun. The star was given a place in the daytime sky to complement the sun. Soon after, the star witnessed the sun scorching the earth, which brought forth many disasters. The star began to waver. Instead of staying beside such a sun, wouldn't it be better to return and light up part of the night sky? But in the end, she couldn't give up the radiance of daytime. To cope with her shame, the star buried her guilt and closed her eyes.
From the sound of it, Sitaria's just hung up on the research opportunities here. But she doesn't really support the academia. She still feels guilty about not doing more for the desert, right? She's just running away from her problems.
When they are presented with complex moral issues, many people will simply plug their ears and go with the flow until the problem can't be fixed anymore. She's suppressing a lot of guilt, but before she realized it, she had already become the sage's accomplice. She can't deny her right. We must somehow make her face her problems again. That way, not only can we get useful intel from her, but she can also use it as an opportunity to redeem herself. From my past observations, Sitaria will take a day off from the academia every 10 days to do some... Tomorrow afternoon just happens to be a shopping day for her. To prepare, let's go check out some of her favorite spots and have a quick chat with a few of the vendors.
Ой, блин, не. Как по мне, Аль-Хайтам был бы лучшим кандидатом. Хотя мы так его встретим. Это.
This should be Sataria's favorite fortune-telling spot.
So should we ask the fortune?
No, I already have enough information on Sataria. The most important thing now is for you to pay attention to the vendor.
Ура.
Walking style? Neat
Ай, прошу
characteristics.
прощения.
My poor lost lambs. Have you become troubled over your
Ребенка каша.
fates? The divine voice of wisdom often echoes between mine ears.
Huh? Really? Nahida, you've been whispering things to...
Shh. My friend here has some doubts regarding his future. Can we get a fortune reading for him?
Потребила голос Катрины.
Of course, of course. In that case. It would seem that Harut and Marut are quite wary of you. Perhaps
Чего?
at some time in the past, you have somehow offended the gods.
В смысле?
Only mocking the god of Emerald, questioning the lord of Geo's financial savviness, and brawling with the god of Electro. Do those count?
Почему объедал? А, типа деньги.
Oh, nothing. Go on, pick an aspect for her to divine.
Love prospects? No problem at all. The gods have spoken. The
Кто же
truth
будет
shall
нашей
be
второй половинкой?
revealed. One who is fated to cross your path will appear on... Huh? So, Marut, did you two spoil my divination? I've never read a fortune so absurd.
Все подряд хотят Дотторе.
Actually, Paimon thinks this is probably the most accurate fortune telling you've ever done.
I admit that the orientation of today's celestial matrix is...
Is that so? Well,
If you were to bring some food offerings for Harut and Marut on your next visit, perhaps they...
Черт. Я так хотел. Ой, это глиномес.
Is this another one of Sataria's favorite stalks?
Yep, it belongs to a king. His father helped Sataria a lot when she first moved to Samari City. So when I start talking with him, listen carefully to the details of her
Ah, dear customers. Would you like to look at some pottery?
we caught wind of your great craftsmanship, so we specifically came to take a look.
Oh, I recognize you. Aren't you Miss Catherine from the Adventurers Guild? Sounds like I'm in for some big
Да ты
business.
что?
Speaking of, where did you learn this trade?
I suppose you could say it all started with my dad. He's a mason by trade, but I picked up an interest in clay while apprenticing for him.
Мес.
After that, I began making pottery by myself in secret. And I simply changed trades when my works turned out well. Although it's a pity that I'm no longer making much use of...
That's nice. You're making a living.
So is your father's...
Oh no, not anymore. A few years back, he fell from a roof and broke his leg. Since he had already saved enough mora over all these years, he's just enjoying...
I see. We wish him peace and happiness in his retirement. I'll have someone in charge of logistics at the guild come by another day for some goods.
No problem. Rest easy, all our goods are sure to...
Ох уж эти NPC-шки. Блять. Ее имя как
This
будто бы
should be
на
our final
звездец
stop.
пожалуйста.
Sataria's always thinking of this restaurant when she's working at the academia. So she always comes by whenever she's...
Nahida, you've really thought of everything.
It's my duty to protect Samari's citizens, after all.
Hi there. I feel like I've seen you down by the docks before.
Huh?
Sorry, I don't quite remember.
Реально Лию как будто бы.
If I recall, you were having a discussion with someone about shipbuilding.
Ah, that's right. I've always been really interested in feats of marine engineering. After all, I grew up in Liyue Harbor and spent my entire childhood staring at the ships
Прям как
going in and
знал.
out of the port. I came to Sumeru to study, but failed to make it into the academia due to my lack of talent. But I'm still discussing all kinds of problems with different
Блин, это
scholars.
хорошая
And I'm
такая,
continuing to
типа,
study and perform
заметка.
research from the restaurant's
Шо
basement.
имя.
I'm sure I'll get
Да.
to the academia after their next round of exams.
What an admirable spirit for learning. Amazing.
Sure. But you'll find hardworking people where...
So this restaurant has a basement as well? Huh. First I've heard of it.
That's right. It's not usually open to patrons. Most of the time, employees use it for breaks or to...
I see. Guess that makes sense. Well, good luck with your...
Thank you so much. As long as I can make it...
Все так хотят в эту академию. Ой.
So, was that everybody?
Mm-hmm. 3 familiar faces should be enough for Satari.
What's the point of all the information we've collected? Nahida, you still haven't told us how you're...
Sataria is already used to avoiding her problems, so we must find a way to break through her usual
Ура, будем
sensibilities.
ломать психику.
I remember that you mentioned that the Eremites in Port Ormos are all making a fuss about the upcoming resurrection of the Scarlet King. Although it's all just a boatload of nonsense, the fate of her homeland may turn out to be Sataria's soft spot.
Oh, Paimon gets it now. You want to take advantage of the guilt. Although she knows she should return home to help the people of the desert, all she's done is conspire with the sages. So,
Well, the Scarlet King is long gone, and Sataria is also too smart to fall for any. If we simply engaged her under the guise of the Scarlet King's believers, she would definitely be weary of us, and we may not get anywhere. But if we were to borrow some of her close acquaintances to talk with her, her
Позаимствуем.
reaction would...
so you mean you're going to possess those people we just talked?
Yep. Possess them through the Akasha. Imply that they've already converted to the faith of the Scarlet King. And then convey our made-up will of the Scarlet King. As long as everything goes smoothly, we'll get through to Sataria for sure. She'll never guess that we...
So that's how you're going to use all the info we collected on these people. It's so that you won't slip up and break form. Possessing them will...
Exactly. So, best of luck with
А
impersonating
нам-то
them.
что делать? Зачем?
Best of luck. But we don't know how to possess...
That's no problem at all. I'll just share all their senses with you once I've possessed them. As long as you're also...
That
Ну,
is pretty
кстати, мы
convenient.
же его снимали
Well,
точно.
we have to do this. Can't you do it yourself?
Although I've been observing humans for a while, I've never been good at
You're not wrong. It's always been painfully obvious whenever you try to pass a check.
Скребили,
If
блин.
it was at all possible, I would have preferred to leave these people alone. But seeing how things are now, I probably should...
Yeah, don't beat yourself up over it. We're only doing this to help everyone, and we'll only...
Alright, then let's give it a go.
Фух, перематываем время. Ну, чаша пан. Чуть на почту пришли.
Made for transferring commodities back and forth.
Я так понимаю, это первый ребенок общается с терминалом Акаши. А, вот она, эта тварь.
Here she comes. Satari is here.
Let's quietly follow her. Once she starts talking to her acquaintances, We'll find a safe spot to begin possessing them. As for how we'll sway her to our side, I'll leave that to you. I trust you'll know what to say.
Почему глаза силы?
Monster looks like they've already started talking. Let's find a hiding.
Охренеть, укромное местечко.
That's right. You really can't force anything when it comes to love. And besides, everyone around me has a very different background and outlook. Are you still listening to me, Nabia?
Oh, of course I'm listening. You were talking about troubles with your love life, right? I heard everything.
Okay then. You just seemed a little distracted for a moment there.
Как ты что-то заподозрил?
Strange. Your cats seem pretty worked up. Is something wrong? I always thought they were quiet, happy kitties. Oh, what are their names again? Ah, that's right. They are just little darlings, aren't they? Harut and Marut.
So, which fortune do you want me to read for you today? You must have come for...
I'd like to get another reading on my love prospects, but to be perfectly honest with you, I feel like I've been a real mess recently.
Охренеть, их не видно.
A mess?
Well, could you do a reading on how long it'll take me to finish my current project at work? I really just want to get it over with.
I hear you. No problem at all. The gods will reveal the truth. The gods are asking, Setaria, why haven't you gone home?
Why haven't I gone home? Do the gods really know everything I've been thinking?
Setaria, why don't you just go home? It's a demand now instead of a question. The gods seem to be truly...
I'm sorry. I know I failed the gods. Please pass on my most sincere apologies, and if I may ask, Nabia, is there a specific god who's speaking to you?
Чё?
What an inconsiderate and naive question. The god who is speaking to me is, of course...
The Scarlet King? No wonder he would make such a demand of me. Oh, wait a second. The Scarlet King passed away even though news of the Scarlet King's resurrection has been spreading like wildfire, it's all just a misinformation campaign from the academia. How can the Scarlet King still exist in real life?
Она спалилась.
What insolence! I am the Scarlet King's most loyal believer. Do you wish to refute his voice of wisdom?
Oh, no. As a child of the desert, I am only reveling in his power upon learning that his divine glory has touched even this city. I will think very carefully about his demand of me. I'm sorry. I must go now.
Wait!
Все, что ли? Ля. Подозревает что-то.
Oh, she just ran off in a hurry. She looked pretty upset.
Well done. Setaria didn't seem to suspect anything amiss. To have something she's been trying desperately to avoid show up out of nowhere and berate her, that must have shaken her to the core.
Aw, Mahita,
It seems all I know are some abstract Harabatot theories. In any case, my time with you has shown a lot of them to be utterly useless. Anyway, enough of that. Let's hurry and catch up to
Да.
he's out of Keem's now. Right on cue.
Decision.
Let's get ready to possess him right away.
It's okay. I just got caught up in something. Oh, actually, didn't you ask me to help you look for work? What kind of work were you looking for again? Oh, right. Your old man's craft. How could I forget? Speaking of, how's he doing? Is he feeling any better? Oh, that's good to hear. I've been thinking a lot about him. If I could get some more time off, I'd love to... Actually, while we're talking about him, is he still living in Port Ormos?
Yeah, he's been retired there for a while.
If you could find the time, please write him a letter. Please pass on that recently, faith in the Scarlet King has taken root in Port Ormos. He has a quick temper, and has always been a devout follower of the Dendro Archon. I don't want him to get into a fight with those Scarlet...
Oh? So, who are you siding with in all of this? The Academia or the Scarlet King? I'm so jealous of you. You were born a child of the desert. Yet you chose to betray the Scarlet King, and now you spend all your time...
Akeem, you don't mean... You've also become a believer of the...
What's so strange about becoming a believer of the wise Scarlet King? In fact, aren't you the strange one? The one who
can't pick a side? Me?
Whoa! Paimon had no idea you'd be so good at this.
You really zeroed in on the issue and put it right in front of her. It might feel, but once everything is over, I'll be sure to pay her a visit to her mind and explain everything.
Блин, а я не видел. О, блин.
Come on! Sataria's already started talking with...
Я не видел, у нее есть Акаша.
So, Shishan, have you noticed anything weird in the city? Like, as if someone was trying to preach to you about something?
Oh, right. Speaking of strange things, I celebrated the Sub-Zerus festival so many times that I lost count.
Wait, how could you be aware of that? That should be impossible. Nothing in the report indicated...
Are you still failing to realize that the Academia's lowly tricks could never deceive all of Sumeru's citizens?
Jishan, don't tell me that you've converted to the Scarlet King as well!
What an absurd question. You make it sound like I should be ashamed. In reality, shouldn't you be the one who is ashamed? You, who works side by side with the Academia.
Please, please stop!
Now Sataria's still trying to run from her problems.
She can no longer justify everything to her.
Hey, she's trying to talk to the guards!
This is the most important part of all. Quick, get...
Mercenary, you're a member of the Corps of 30, correct? Please help me pass a message to...
Please, try to remain calm, miss. Tell me what...
Heretics are infiltrating the city, and they've already converted many residents to their side.
Heretics? What kind of heresy are you...
The Scarlet King! Many people I know have suddenly started believing in him, but he's long dead.
Miss Sataria, nothing.
You know my name?
The Scarlet King is immortal, and all who defy him will one day pay the price. You must face the truth, Sataria. You tread a treacherous path, and the longer you ignore it, the tighter the Academia's grasp on you will become. Child of the Scarlet King, never forget that the desert that belongs to you lies elsewhere.
What's so strange about becoming a believer of the wise Scarlet King? In fact, aren't you the strange one? The one who still can't pick a side?
What an absurd question. You make it sound like I should be ashamed for becoming a believer of the Scarlet King.
Sataria, why haven't you gone home?
Бля, это так круто сделано.
seems that no matter where I run, I only keep finding more believers of the Scarlet King. I've also been running from my guilt this whole time. Guilt over my part in the sage's plans, and from ignoring the letters from the children. But no matter how much I may try to ignore or get rid of it, my guilt always comes back.
You won't necessarily lose your research opportunities by facing the truth. Besides, did you really...
How do you know me so well? Are you truly just a believer?
That's not important. The important thing is to pass judgment on the academia and its sages, and to correct their mistakes. If you could provide some assistance in this matter, perhaps it could serve as a form of atonement.
I've actually never believed in the gods, but I've always believed in serendipity. Your appearance must be a fated opportunity. Please tell me, what can I...
How much do you know about the sages?
I was just one of the designers for the massed dream harvest scheme, which is what happened around this. But I know very little about the full scope of the overall project. I'd assume that only staff with the highest clearance would have access to the... I've just been working to meet the Grand Sage's specified requirements. However, there's something that's been really bothering me. I heard that a scholar who was previously expelled has returned to the city.
Чего?
Even the sages are
Ну,
so
куда
wary of
числение?
him.
Альхай там, что ли? А! Дотторе! Бля! Возможно, Дотторе. У меня аж мурашки пошли.
To fight against the academia, we will need to figure out the nature and the purpose of their work. Is there a way for us to get access to the confidential documents you mentioned?
It should be possible if we're willing to take some risks. After all, I'm an assistant to the Grand Sage, and I've been working on many tasks outside of the one thing, though. I won't be able to transfer the documents to you through the Akasha once I get my hands on them. The sages have always closely monitored all activities within the Akasha. Let me see... let's use the most primitive method.
The academia entrance. Wouldn't that be too conspicuous?
Don't worry about that. I assure you, this won't be... I'm only suggesting this location because it'll draw more scrutiny for me to leave the academia again. It'll be safest for me to distract the guards long enough to handle...
All right, I trust you.
So, if I were to...
That'll depend on the judgment of the Dendro Archon.
The Dendro Archon. That's right. Her people are the ones we have endangered. As the god of wisdom, she's all... Maybe it's time for me to find a god to believe in.
Just as Nahida predicted, we've managed to bring Sataria to our side.
Отлично.
The traveler's execution was ingenious. He's the one who deserves all the praise. Well, now that we've made plans to meet again tomorrow evening, I'll...
Pray? But if we're going to pray to the gods, aren't we just praying to you? God of wisdom and guardian of...
No. The truth is the true guardian of scholars.
Блин. Это слишком круто. Во сколько? 19. Разлом. Да блин.
One with nature.
Так.
Catherine, we're here! Oh, you...
That's right. I suppose I'm the other Catherine in your mind.
Shh! We're on a secret mission tonight, so we need to protect Cat...
Yep, Paimon's right. We cannot fully rule out the chance that if something were to happen, my existence may be the only trump card we'll be able to play. After all, the academia should still be unable to confirm the existence of my consciousness in the outside world.
Yep, exactly. Just what Paimon was thinking. Anyway, enough about that. Let's just make sure to be on our off. What do you feel is off? It's the middle of the night. Of course it's quiet. You're not getting paranoid, are you?
No, I think he's right. It really is a lot. If you look around, there seems to be fewer people on the streets.
Huh. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe Sataria figured out a way to not only distract...
I also can't quite figure out why things feel a little off. But now that we're here, let's go ahead and...
Well, regardless, as long as you're...
Сука, только мы втроем сейчас. По сути, ну как смотреть просто никого. Реально вообще нет ничего такого.
Let's hope it'll be this quiet in front of the academia, and that Sataria managed to distract all the guards.
Да, поверю. Давай.
Time to go.
Ух ты. О, кацана.
What are all these people doing here at this hour of the night?
Действительно.
Ah, the triumphant hero returns at last. And to a rather spectacular welcome, even if I do say so myself.
You're the outcast, expelled from the academia.
Indeed I am. Although these days they tend to call me the Doctor. If you're looking for your researcher friend, she has already been taken into confinement. With some basic caution, she could have discovered the listening device on her person. Clearly, she lacks the degree of rigor expected of a true scholar.
Я думал, он 4.
The people of Sumeru City. What have you done to them?
I simply made some minor adjustments to their Akasha terminals. Now they can deposit information directly into the subconscious. As you can see, all these lovely people now believe this traveler is a hero who has just saved the world. My experiment is a success. And now it seems they can no longer hold back their sheer adoration.
Well, what should we do? These are all just regular people.
Leave now. You need to get out of here.
What? That guy's a Fatui Harbinger! We can't just leave you here!
Nor can I abandon the people of Sumeru!
А чё так Дотторе рано появился, я в шоке.
Don't worry. We'll meet again outside of the city.
I see. You appear to have overridden their mental faculties with your own consciousness. To possess such a powerful mind, you must be the god of wisdom.
Капец. А чё так пафосно? Ебать.
This should be far enough. I might need to catch your breath first.
Дотторе второй, бля.
We only made it out because of her.
Ебануться. А раньше была информация, что он 5-й, потом 4-й, а он 2-й. Это пиздец.
into a new harbinger here, let alone such a high-ranking one. That guy was number 2. He called himself the Doctor. Remember, Tainari told us about him. Sataria did say that even the sages are wary of him. Yep. Sounds like she must have been talking about the Doctor. Yeah. Now that the Doctor's in the picture, we're no longer just dealing with the academia. They're in cahoots with the Fatui. But what are the Fatui after this time? Another Gnosis?
Естественно.
Yeah. Things would be a lot easier with Nahita's help. Nahita said we'll meet again outside of the city. But we can't just keep waiting around, right? You mean... right! Wasn't he invited by the sages to work on some project when we were staying with him in the Vidia forest? That has to be the same, even though he turned it down at the time. He might still... There's no time to lose. Let's go to good...
Блин, то, что он без сигнала будем общаться, это забавно.